Hi everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel and another paper crafting video tutorial for STAMPtember 2024. Hi everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel, and today is the day that so many of you have been waiting for. It is the Tim Holtz limited edition exclusive for STAMPtember 2024. Are you ready? Ta-da! This is Tim's awesome 2024 limited edition exclusive set, coordinating postage dies, and all of these wonderful little images that I cannot wait to show you what I created with these. So this is always highly anticipated, very much sells out every single year. Simon gets a ton of quantity, so if you want it, pause the video, go over, grab your set, and then come back and see what I created with this amazing set of products. Absolutely love it. Probably my favorite, might be your favorite of 2024. There's been some really good ones, but I love this. I am here for the postage craze. So let me show you the cards I created, and then let's jump into creating them today. Now, I love to mix and match. You guys might know that. And so I went ahead and grabbed some of Tim's other fantastic products from his line. Background stamps from Stampers Anonymous, some dies from Sizzix, and I paired them with the STAMPtember exclusive to create these cards. So these are the two cards I'm going to show today. Also that awesome paint by numbers set that Simon Says Stamp has coordinating dies for. You can see that each card features that big 25, some postage stamps, background stamping, distress inks, and I did create them in two colorways. I love all that greenery tucked in there. So if you want to see how I created these cards, keep watching. So we are going to take the stamp set and the postage dies. Now, I put it across the screen a minute ago, but there are coordinating dies for all of the shapes. Yes, you heard that right. How exciting is that? And I did not have them when I made my cards. They came later, so I do have them. I just didn't use them for today, which actually turned out okay because I don't think I necessarily needed it. Now, what I was showing was that I am using a whole bunch of awesome Tim Holtz products to create my cards today. I am creating both backgrounds exactly the same with maybe a color or two change. So I am not going to stamp both of those during the video today just to save some time. But I like to start pretty much from the ground up. We got to start with a good base, right? We are going to take some of these wonderful grunged shapes with Lost Shadow Distress ink, and we are going to ink up this Dolphin Lawn Fawn cardstock with this to start or kick it all off. We want to have a really good base to showcase these amazing postage stamps and images from Tim. And I love controlled grunge. You know what I'm saying? I think you guys probably know that about me. And so I started with this, and we're just going to fill in a couple places as I think it's needed. Lost Shadow has quickly become my favorite distress color. We're also going to take one of these wonderful text backgrounds from Tim's Reflections stamp set, and I'm going to take a white pigment ink and we're going to stamp over this. It is very light. Dolphin is not a dark cardstock, so it's not going to be a super drastic text, but that's what I want. So I am stamping this all the way down the panel. And I should have mentioned that this is a A2 panel, 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. Next, we're going back to the grunged set, and we're going to grab our distress ink, this time in Rustic Wilderness, and we're going to add some splatter to our background. I am working on the Simon Says Stamp glass mat today to make easy or cleanup easy. And again, I don't need to go over the top with this. I just want a little bit. I die cut some of the postage shapes, one of the big and two of the small, from some Hammermill 100-pound weight smooth white cardstock, and I'm choosing my stamp images that I want for my postage stamps for the first card. We've got Santa, a candy cane, and of course that adorable Rudolph. FYI, I did not stamp Rudolph straight, and I ended up redoing him because I was not happy with how I stamped him, but I will do that off camera. I'm stamping my images with Hero Arts Intensified Black ink to make it easy to do some Olo or alcohol ink coloring. Super easy coloring today, nothing crazy at all. It's very minimal coloring, but it is important to get some color on there, so use whatever favorite coloring medium you like. Before I do my coloring, I'm also going to do a little inking to give the background of my postage stamps some interest. To mask off the outer area to make it look like it's matted, I'm taking Post-it tape and just eyeballing it around the edge. It's barely hanging on there, but I tried to make it as even as possible. We're going to go in with some Scorched Timber Distress ink and a small brown ink blending brush, and we're going to just ink around the edges. If a little bit of the ink gets on the image, it's okay. It is not going to hurt anything at all. I'm going to tap off a little of that ink to start with, and then we're going to start going around the edges like so. I'm going to build up the intensity and color. We don't really want to go all the way to the image, but kind of just right up next to it. Now at first I was super worried that it was going to look like a hot mess. My blending brush was a little gunky, I guess. I don't know. And I was having a hard time getting the ink to move, but honestly, when the ink dried, the results were phenomenal. I was so happy with my postage stamps. So I'm going to keep going around these edges, just working that color in like so. Now when I peel off my Post-it tape, you can also use washi or whatever. Look at the magic. Look at that postage stamp. Isn't that amazing? We are going to go ahead and do that for the other two images as well. But first, let's color in Santa, shall we? So really quick and easy, I'm going to use my Olo markers to add color. I'll list all of the Olo markers I'm using down in the description below for easy reference. And again, he doesn't require very much coloring. None of the images really do. So I love that. Just a nice quick little touch with the marker and away we go. The images in this set are so cute. There are so many as well. I only used a fraction of what you get in this set. I could have just kept making cards and kept making cards. You guys, let me know down in the comments, what do you think of this year's Tim Holtz STAMPtember release? Are you excited? Isn't it so good? I just absolutely love everything about it. And not only is the stamp set filled with all of these incredible images, but I also think that all of the wonderful sentiments and phrases that come with it are phenomenal. One idea that I thought would be super fun, especially if you have littles or are the grandparent of littles or the aunt or whatever the case may be, is an advent calendar made with all of these little images, like on little pockets or something. How cute would that be? There is so many different things that you can do with this set. I hope you guys are as excited as we all are. I love his little rosy cheeks. I think that might be my favorite thing. Now, I did go back in over any of the areas that are generally white with a white pencil. And that's just to kind of help give some highlight over that gray. Oh, I love it. Okay, same thing for our other two images. This time I'm going to color first. It really doesn't matter which way you go first. I know that I did that originally because I wanted to make sure it worked okay, as what I had imagined in my head. But also, my feeling was if I inked it and messed it up, that I hadn't colored it yet. but apparently I lost that worry with this next one. So now we're just using some browns to color in Rudolph's face. And again, think tags, cards, art journaling, scrapbooking, home decor, all kinds of different things you can make with these amazing stamps and dies. And I love that Simon Says Stamp is offering us all of the dies this year, and I super love that there are the different options. So if you don't think you need, maybe all of the shape dies, I didn't use them. If you don't think you need the shape dies, you don't have to pick those up and you can save a few bucks. Or if you're someone who likes all of the dies, and let's face it, we all know that that's me, that I'm that person. I love to have the coordinating dies so I don't have to fussy cut. But there's options. There's options for how you like to craft, and I think that is amazing. Don't forget that there is free shipping over $25 for US. It is a limited time only here. I don't know when that ends exactly, but it's going on during Stamptember 2024. The free ship code is FRSHP. That is for USA orders, or you can get $7.99 off of international shipping with code 799. And thank you so much to Simon Says Stamp for offering that to their customers. It is such a lifesaver when so many are ordering so many orders, or even just a single order. It really helps so much. Here is our quick candy cane. Again, I just love it. It turned out so stinking cute. Love, love, love it. But the magic to me is when we mask it off and add the inking. It's really pretty colored, but adding that moody scorched timber around the edges is really what just kind of kicks it up a notch, in my opinion. So again, we're just going to take a little Post-it tape, place it around the edges. What I like about having a black grid underneath and then the light shining down from my filming lights was it did make it easy to see through my Post-it tape so that I could get it as straight as possible. And again, I eyeballed it. I did not measure anything. And we're going to go around all of the edges, just giving it a nice little scorched timber love. Okay, when we are done with this, it is time to kind of pull together the rest of the elements that we need to finish our card. In this case, I want to use the big paint by numbers stamp set and coordinating dies. Oh, look at these. Aren't they cute? And I am going to take these, and these are also from Tim Holtz, and Simon Says Stamp has the coordinating dies for those. I'm going to prep my cardstock with a powder tool first because we're going to ink up our numbers with clear embossing ink first, and then we're going to heat emboss with red embossing powder. My favorite red embossing powder is this Hero Arts red embossing powder. It is just a true bright red. So I'm sprinkled that on, and I'm going to heat this up. Now the paint by numbers obviously looks grungy, totally Tim's style, and I love it. I think the bright red is going to pair so beautifully with the other components. One of my goals throughout Stamptember is to always share, yes, the featured product of the day, but to hopefully inspire you to use maybe other things that you have in your stash, or give you ideas to utilize some things that you might have in your stash that you can create similar projects. Now this greenery, also from Tim Holtz, this is a wonderful Sizzix die set from one of his 2023 holiday release called Holiday Brushstroke 3 dies. Say that 3 times fast. And I'm going to kind of lay things out and get an idea for what I want to do. And I kept trying to do this layered effect, you can see. And I am layering everything, but I want to give you guys a tip, and I'm going to give you let you in on a little secret, I guess. So I was doing this and I was like, okay, I'm happy with this. One tiny little shift in thinking made this work better for me. And that is moving the candy cane over a smidge, that's a technical term, over to the right just a little bit. And we're going to create quadrants. I've talked about this a ton in my videos. It's something I love in card making because I feel like it works. And I have tried to impress that in several of my videos this month. I will revisit techniques and design elements that really work well. In this case, moving the candy cane over makes that a quadrant with some greenery. Santa is a quadrant. Rudolph is a quadrant, and our 25 with the greenery is a quadrant. Are they defined lines or windows? No, but they slightly overlap. You can see where greenery overlaps things because that adds interest. It makes it a much more cohesive design. Now, two of my favorite things here, I stamped the greeting kind of to be tucked right underneath the number 2. The numbers are going to overlap, which I love, and those are their own quadrant in themselves. But the thing I love is the cancellation stamp here that comes in your stamp set. That is going to be utilized over and over. Now, why did I hold my stamp in place while I stamped the cancellation? Well, I'm doing that because I want it to line up, and I want the cancellation to be partly on the stamp, partly on the card base, but I want to pop up my postage stamps with foam adhesive. Is anyone surprised that I wanted to use foam adhesive on my card? Probably not. So we are going to do this for each of the stamps. I think it adds so much interest. Let's go ahead and pop Santa up with some foam squares. And it makes it really easy to remember exactly where I want him to go. There we go. And it's seamless. I love it. Let's go ahead and do Rudolph as well. And word of caution, if you're doing a lot of tucking of greenery and things like I'm doing here, don't be afraid to use less foam. I know it's a world gone mad where I said to use less foam, but it makes it easier to tuck things. I was having to pull foam off. I did not think things through very well at first. The second one went together much easier. Okay, so now I have my numbers overlapped and I'm simply putting foam on the back of them so that I can pop them in place as well. Did you catch the shift in the candy cane and moving it over? Ah, I love it. Okay, I can pull my adhesive off of my 25 now, and you'll notice that I used the foam to connect the numbers together, and that is going to make it much easier to attach them to my card. Part of the 2 does overlap our Santa, so we definitely don't want foam underneath that part of the number. In fact, we want to probably put a little liquid glue under that to secure the rest of the number to our card. I'm taking a little bit of my Rustic Wilderness and I am inking it onto these greenery pieces. I did die cut all of the greenery using Palm or Pesto Hero Arts cardstock, my 2 favorite green colors. I'm sure no one is shocked. I have my favorites and that's what I tend to gravitate towards. And we are going to just give them a little shading so they have that interest, that depth, the dimension that all the rest of the card has. If these were left flat and everything else has all this wonderful shading, it really is glaring and just it falls a little flat in my opinion. So I am just adding really quick inking to these. It doesn't have to be anything crazy at all. I love how the green splatter in the background is really tying in to these wonderful greenery pieces. It just kind of pulls everything together, and of course the bright red of the numbers. I'm a red and green Christmas girl, so I was here for this. I have lots of greenery pieces you can see, and some of them are going to be tucked right here to the left of the number 2. We're going to also do a piece just to the right of the number 2. And then we're going to tuck the rest kind of up high, or at least a little bit. I think a little bit on each side of the candy cane is what we end up doing. It was a work in progress. And I didn't want to cover up my postage. Instead, I just wanted to kind of reinforce this really fun design. Okay, we have a couple more pieces. Don't forget to ink it though, Nicole. Almost. It could have been bad. Oh, I love it. I love, love, love this. And then we have our other greenery, and yep, that's going to work. So quickly, I'm just adding my ink to these as well. And I don't know why I always have Post-it tape and all kinds of things stuck to my hands, but I do. I put it there for safekeeping. And then I forget that it's there. Okay. So I must not have stuck the candy cane down all the way. We're going to do that right now. And see, I put way too much foam on my numbers. Lesson learned. I got smarter the second one. Okay, now that we have all of our wonderful postage stamps and numbers in place, we can tuck the rest of the greeting in and do a few small finishing details. Then I'm going to show you how I did the snowman card, but we're going to skip past the background, which is exactly the same, just a different color for the splatter, and of course the numbers, but they're also in just another color. Same design, different colorway. I used the 25 as the base to tuck all of my greenery into. And then those postage stamps are all there, you know, in the background, and we're embellishing with a few red Spellbinders gems just to set it all off perfectly. We'll glue this to a white top fold card base, and that is it, friends, for the first card. I don't know, I had the most fun creating this, and I hope you guys loved it too. Now, there were a couple more small finishing things that I felt like I needed to do before I could call this completely finished. One of them is we want to take a black jelly roll pen and add detail to Rudolph's eyes. That always makes Critter's eyes really pop. And the other is, of course, some glossy accents on Rudolph's nose, which will be nice and glossy once dry, and maybe a few white highlights here and there. Nothing crazy, nothing over the top, but I did add a few white highlights to all of the images. Some little dots on Santa's cheeks, little things like that. Okay. We're ready for our second card. As I mentioned, we're doing a different splatter color background. This time we're using Uncharted Mariner. We have the same Lost Shadow and white pigment ink text over the background. It may not look exactly the same. I mean, I just really guessed. I didn't really follow a certain format. I just did a couple of areas of the splatter. I also stamped my numbers with the Uncharted Mariner ink because I don't have an embossing powder exactly this color. What I did was I stamped the 25 with Uncharted Mariner. I cleaned my stamps. I stamped it exactly in the same place again because I did use a MISTI using clear embossing ink. And now I'm sprinkling on clear embossing powder so that when it dries, it's going to be glossy, but glossy Uncharted Mariner. That's a great hack if you don't have the embossing or an embossing powder in a certain color that you want. Stamp your image or your numbers or letters or whatever it is with the color that you want it to be. Then stamp it again exactly in the same place with clear ink and heat emboss with clear embossing powder. And literally the sky's the limit. Whatever colors of ink you have, you can basically create wonderful numbers. Okay, this time the 3 images that I'm going to use for my postage are the Frosty, a mitten, and a mug. I just picked 3 that I felt like went together and would look pretty in a blue colorway. And I really wanted to showcase a similar card, but in a completely different colorway. So that was my thought process here. Same steps as before. We're going to color in the images. We're going to mask off the edges. We're going to ink around them and then create our card exactly the same. So I am going to leave the coloring portion in the video since these images are different, and I know you guys like watching the coloring. And again, all of these color combinations will be listed down in the description below for easy reference. I love the little frosty face. I'm just here for all of it. Now I am doing like a blue and a violet color combination. I felt like I wanted to pull in another color just a little bit. So I did decide on the blue violet for a little added interest. We're going to do a little blue hat band or purple. No, I think I did blue hat band. And then the hat is going to be, of course, black. And you build that color with your gray markers. Here's the blue violets I'm going to use. And it's so pretty. I think these colors are going to be so good together. Well, I guess I know they are. I've already finished the card, but you guys know what I mean. And you could obviously do this in any color way you want. Maybe you like to decorate or give cards or whatever in, let's say, neutrals and greens, or you love to do more of the modern where you do the aquas, pinks, reds, limey greens, whatever you love to create with, you can totally customize this idea to work. And we're going to do our mitten in blue and purple as well. And like I said, these images are small, so the coloring is really quick and easy here. Doesn't take long whatsoever. Even though these cards feature lots of different details and there's quite a bit going on, they did not take that long to make. I was able to make both of them in just a couple of hours, maybe about 2.5. But I didn't think that was bad at all for 2 very detailed cards. So I tried to do all of the rest of the blue at one time, just like I will do the purple all at one time. Now I did have to go grab my browns that I used for Rudolph. I want to use those for the coffee or hot cocoa probably that is in the mug. And then we're going to add our shading around each of these blocks. Now the other difference from the other card is that I used scorched timber for that card, and I thought it worked really well with a red and green color scheme. For this card, with the cool tones of blues and purples, as well as our background is gray. I mean, the background is the same, but I feel like our background can go either direction depending on what else you're using. I didn't feel like scorched timber would be the correct color for the background of these images. So instead, we're going to do lost shadow around these, and we're going to use the same technique. Now I'll only do one of these on camera since it's the exact same thing as the previous card where I use my Post-it tape to create a mask, I ink around the edges, and then we assemble the card by stamping the cancellation marks and then popping things up with foam and tucking the greenery in. The other difference before I add anything onto the background of my card, do you see the snowflake stamp sitting there on my desk? I did stamp that snowflake with some of the Uncharted Mariner around the background panel. So that's one of the images from the Tim Holtz STAMPtember 2024 set, and I felt like it would just make a fun addition to the background, so I'll add that. This time I also used Merry Christmas. I wanted to use another sentiment from the set, so I thought we would stamp the Merry Christmas, and I did stamp it with scorched timber, and I stamped it with Uncharted Mariner first, full disclosure. Didn't like it, so I stamped it again right on top with scorched timber, and I think it shows up better. With the blue Uncharted Mariner splatter in the background, it needed something darker to show up. Okay, here you can see the snowflakes in the background, the Merry Christmas, and I'm adding some denim Spellbinders gems around my card to finish it all up. I've already tucked all of my inked greenery into the card design, and just like before, we need to add a few little decorative touches like white highlights. You can see that I've added them there. Some glossy accents for the frosty carrot nose. And there you go. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for the STAMPtember 2024 Tim Holtz limited edition exclusive. The supplies I used to create my cards are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much for joining me today for another paper crafting tutorial. I love being able to share with this incredible community of crafters. I want to give a huge shout out and special thank you to my amazing Patreon members. If you're interested in joining Patreon, please click the link in the description underneath the video here on YouTube. Patreon is a private community where you can support more of what I do. There is exclusive content, information, and behind-the-scenes content. Top-tier members will receive a handmade birthday card during your birthday month, access to D-Stash, and monthly exclusive lives, plus so much more. We would love to have you join our growing community. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel, click that like button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to always be notified when I have a new video. Thanks for watching!